Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to The Editor and the Alien. I am your co-host, the Night Editor, Kat Rocha, and with me, as always, is...
That alien guy. What's up?
That alien guy. Is that not your new name?
No,
Alien guy?
I don't want to be confused with any other that guys.
No. We'll just do you up like what was it, Doc Manhattan? Only you'll be tiny.
Naked?
Yeah, naked.
No, there are
Out
too
of the
many.
suit.
No. There are too many that guys. There's that black guy. There's just some black guy. That umbrella guy. That homoerotic guy. You know, we don't need any more of that. So.
Well, how about that gray dude?
That gray dude. So J Ishiro Finney, author and alien in a human suit, who is still very, very exhausted.
So
is the AC on?
Yes, it is. Okay, cool. I think it is. Let me double check.
It's a bit warm here in Arizona. A nice and comfortable 106 degrees. I'll believe it or not, though, it's not all that humid, so it doesn't really matter that much.
No, it's just toasty.
And you're listening to At the Movies.
What who's Siskel and who's Ebert?
I'm fucking spent is what I am right now. So you're gonna lead the way, okay?
You're listening to Spent at the Movies. So again, who's Siskel and who's Ebert?
I think it's kind of unfair because neither of us are bald, neither of us are fat.
No.
So I don't know. Anyway,
well, one is bigger than the other, so
we can all just pretend to be Richard Roper.
Okay.
And just act really gay and obnoxious.
I don't want to be a lesbian.
Oh no, that's Rex Reed. That's Rex Reed, who's really gay and really obnoxious.
Rex Reed. I don't think I've seen.
He's only enjoyable because he's so goddamn smarmy. That's the only reason to watch him.
Oh,
he probably doesn't have a job anymore. Anyway. Talk.
Okay. So the movie that we watched this evening was Jug Face, directed by who's the director here?
The director is Chad.
Yes, Chad.
Chad directed it. Chad Crawford Kinkle,
who really hasn't done much, but. And it's really kind of a shame that this is such a sleeper film. It came out a couple of years ago.
As in 2013.
Yes, a couple of years ago, exactly. And I just remember we stumbled upon it on Amazon Prime. And the reason why we popped it on was...
No, this was actually back when Netflix actually had indie films on it.
Was that what? I thought we caught it on Prime.
No. We watched this ages ago, back before Netflix purged all their good movies and went to that kind of limited, minimal, cycling through the same set of films over and over again. Remember when there was this huge back catalog of just... midnight movies, rare movies that were indie that nobody had noticed. Mm-hmm. We found so much cool shit like that. And then, what was it? Then they just dropped it. Netflix just dropped it. And it was like, why bother?
Well, apparently, there was a deal with Showtime
and Stars and a few others.
And they decided not to renew the deal.
Yeah, they killed the deal and said, no, watch our woke programming instead. And we said, no.
No, in fact, I'm not going to pay for that shit. But we popped it on because the description is like, ooh, backwoods cults and Sean Young is in it. This sounds awesome. And we thought it was going to be a B film. And turned out, no, it was actually pretty good.
That was the best part about Netflix before they went downhill. Mm-hmm. Was so many films that we found and said, oh, this looks like a complete trash. Let's watch it. And okay, honestly, let's say 80% of it was complete trash.
Yeah.
But 20% of the time, you found a gem. We found a lot of good stuff that way.
Isn't that how we found Rover?
Yeah, that's exactly how we found Rover. We're going to eventually cover all these indie films that everyone missed that we caught that way, eventually. And this is one of the standouts.
So, do you want to share with the good people the plot of Jug Face, or shall I?
It was your choice.
It was my choice. Okay, yes, this was my choice because this was one of those films where I haven't stopped thinking about it since we first watched it, all those years ago. And I was so glad that we were able to pick it up this year. on Amazon. Jug Face is the story of this small, we would call them a backwoods town full of hicks.
They're not even a town. They were
No.
backwoods clan of hillbillies, really.
And as is
and I mean real hillbillies, not stereotypical.
No, this is like Ozarks
Yeah.
type hillbillies. And they never mind about anybody else as long as you don't mind about them. And as we'll get into later, they seem to worship this, but they call it the pit, and it's this pit in the ground. And it is established very quickly that there is something in the pit that speaks to them through what they call the potter. And when the pit wants a sacrifice, they have to sacrifice one of their own to the pit, but in return, the pit will heal their ailments, make sure that they're never sick, prolong their lives. And
if you look at the shithole they're living in, they would definitely need this sort of immunity.
Yes.
Because it is filthy. And, I know that
you get tetanus just looking at this.
Yeah, I know that these kind of films don't bother you that much. But I've got to admit, this is another reason I can't really get through a lot of films set in the bayou, is there's just such a griminess to the whole thing. That there's just this element of me that's just, just looking at the filth they're living in.
And me, I find it fascinating. I mean, yes, in a perverted way, probably in some ways almost an onlooker at the zoo. I'm going to be perfectly honest, but it's a different way of living, and I find it fascinating.
And these are Ozark hillbillies in the sense of they have a lot in common with gypsies. They live in kind of shacks and caravan vehicles. They engage in things like daughter trading for money. They've got all these bizarre rituals and way things are done.
Oh, it's not. I didn't get the impression that it was daughter trading for money.
It's for money. No, it's established it's for money.
I thought that it was established that if she's not a virgin, then the daughter's family is the one who has to pay up.
No, because they said, we'll have to pay him back.
Oh, I thought they said we'd have to pay him. Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless. Well, the pit has demanded a sacrifice in the form of our main protagonist, and thus starts the chain of events of which the movie is all about. So let us dive into it, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first off, the film does a wonderful way of, this film definitely should be studied by storytellers on how to do exposition without letting the audience know that they're being fed information. Right down to the fact of nothing is ever really explained. It's just as people are talking about the events, they talk about it in normal terms as if everybody already knows this, so they don't fill each other in on the backstory.
Well,
but you, the audience, get enough information to figure it out.
The opening credits, you've got that weird chalkboard drawing retelling of their legend of how this all started, and you get this, and I mean there's scribbles essentially, and what you see is that there's a plague that comes through. It was the pox, so it'd be smallpox, and that dates it to when this would have happened. What, the 20s or the 30s? I think it was the 20s. The smallpox first came through, but
I thought it was earlier than that. That was late 1800s, but
I don't know.
My history on that is rusty.
But then you see a family mourning, and they've gone to the priest, and the priest is doing last rites and all that. And then you see a group of them wander out to this pit, and then they come back and they grab the priest and they cut his head off. And
no.
Yeah.
It full on depicts that they go to the priest for help, and the priest can't do anything. And they go to the pit, and they bring the body to the pit. And as a result, the quote potter drawing takes earth out of the pit and makes a head out of it. And it's the head of the priest telling the people that the pit demands the priest as a sacrifice. So they do, thus setting in motion that this town is blessed by whatever is in the pit, as long as they bring to it what the pit demands through the potter.
And the potter, it's established that every time the potter dies, he's replaced by someone. But the price of becoming the potter is that you become kind of an idiot savant.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into these trances when you make the pots.
Yeah.
So really, the thing I got from this is a way to tell a story where nobody has any redeeming qualities.
Absolutely nobody. Not a single. Well, I take that back. The girl in the drugstore in the town
had some redeeming, yeah,
she had redeeming qualities, but she is a like second, third tier character. She's
in it for less than a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, there is nobody in this story is without sin. Mad Ginger, don't forget to like this video, everyone. Thank you, Kronk.
Or to share this on social media so that listeners actually know we're on air right now.
Mm-hmm.
So keep going.
So once the opening credits and you get this wonderful background of what the town is all about through these drawings, wonderful way of doing that, by the way, you are instantly introduced to our main character, Ada, with a young man as they are frolicking in the woods leading up to some shenanigans. And
by shenanigans, she means heavy dicking.
Yes, very heavy dicking. But it is established that they wind up getting too close to where the pit is located. And Ada does not want to have sex near the pit. And first you just think, okay, she doesn't want to have sex near the pit. Fine. And he fights her on it, but she convinces him to go a little ways away. Upon second viewing, I realized that her being there is what set this all in motion. She pissed off the pit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well...
You think the pit wanted to watch?
No, it's against their
way, yeah.
Their way for her to be having sex before marriage.
Right.
And yeah, it's never stated, but it is implied that she and this young man have been going out to the woods to have sex for quite some time now. And you see the water in the pit bubble up while they're having sex. And immediately the potter goes into his fugue state and he makes a new, as they call him, Jug Face. And it is revealed quite quickly that Jug Face is Ada.
Well, make it reveal to us who she's banging.
Yeah. Well, okay. You want me to go ahead and say now?
Because these are real hillbillies now.
Yes, they are. Well, let me do the lead up because I love how they did it. You just think that it's her boyfriend. And when she goes home, she discovers when she gets home that her parents have betrothed her to another boy in the town. And, she is very polite about it. And later, it is discovered around the dinner table that the boy that she was in the woods with having sex isn't her boyfriend, it's her brother. Yes, she's been fucking her brother. So doubly sinning on that one there, huh?
Yeah. So really, I mean, the plot isn't that complicated. I mean, you get this first act, then it's kind of this long descent into how long can she hide the fact that the pit has chosen her to be sacrificed, and how many people get killed or damaged along the way because of it.
Well, also, the reason why I say I think she pissed off the pit, probably because she was having sex before marriage and she was having sex with her brother, is because the potter reveals that about a month and a half previous, he had gone into one of his fugue states and had made a pot that had a fetus depicted on the side of it. But he didn't tell anybody because he said, well, nobody in the town is pregnant. So, yeah, I figured that I made a mistake when I made this.
So you think that the pit just wanted the kid originally?
Yeah, that the pit wanted the kid originally because it later when she miscarriages, they find that the fetus is 2 months old.
Good point.
So yeah, I think originally it just wanted the fetus, and then it got pissed by her and said about wanting her as well.
I don't know. It depends at this point how much you want to reveal after this, because I could be wrong. I mean, you obviously get more out of this film than I do. And I realize partially I have a bit of a revulsion to this kind of culture for various reasons that we need not get into. So I may have missed a lot, but I didn't see much of a deeper subtext other than the fact that every one of these people has essentially been damned for something that was chosen for them generations prior, at least 4.
And I don't see it that way.
And none of them could really escape it.
I don't see it that way at all, actually. Yeah. I mean, are they religious nuts? Yeah, you can call it that, but they're not out, banging the drum, asking people to join their cult. They're not asking people to, follow the pit. In fact, they don't want to deal with outsiders. They only venture out to sell moonshine to the nearby town folk, and that's how their little settlement makes money, is by selling moonshine. They're moonshiners.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they are real hillbillies in every way. And was it the documentary "The Amazing Whites"?
Yeah.
If you want an example of what that lifestyle is like, that documentary is incredible. And it was about a real Ozark family that had been running drugs and had completely ruined the neighboring town because of it.
But they're very insular. They want to be left alone, but they have their own ways and their own rules. And what I get out of it is it's definitely a character study of an insanely flawed individual who is willing to destroy everybody around her to save her own skin. And it takes a lot. In fact, it doesn't. It takes until the one innocent person in the whole town, which is the potter.
Yeah.
Who
really has no free will.
He has no free will, and yet he willingly and wholeheartedly puts himself in the power of the pit, right down to, if the town folk, the town folk at one point think that, let me take a step back. Because of her actions, she finds the jug face with her face on it, and she hides it. And as a result, the pit gets pissed and starts killing people in the town. And it's killing a person a day, until the correct person is sacrificed by the town. And that's the thing. It very much so, the town has to sacrifice the correct person. Otherwise, the pit will knock them off. And she allows this to happen, and constantly she is given the opportunity, and constantly she has the opportunity to come clean with what happened, and she doesn't do it. She hopes that the pit will accept other people, and she even goes so far as to honestly trick the potter into making a jug face that looks like the boy that she's been betrothed to.
Yeah, because she doesn't like him.
Yeah, because she doesn't like him. So she full on murders this guy. And his only crime is that he liked her and wanted to marry her. That's it.
Well, no, I mean, she was sold to him. I mean,
she was sold to him, but
Yeah, his only crime is
no,
he was a meathead.
no, I'm going by their society's rules.
Yeah.
Their society's rules is that he went to her father and said, sir, I'm here to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage. And when her father said yes, then
bring the dowry.
Yeah, then money transacted. But he legitimately liked her, and as a result, she had him killed. I mean, come on, that's an evil person.
Yeah.
And then the pit gives her visions of when it's going to attack
she
somebody.
does see every murder through the eyes of the creature.
Yeah. And this film does a wonderful job of the point of view monster. Usually the point of view monster is used by filmmakers because they can't afford to do anything. Whether it's because of budget or what, this film beautifully does the point of view monster, where it's okay that you never see the avatar of the pit going out and hunting people down. You don't need to. The aftermath is enough.
Yeah.
But just person after person gets killed because of her, right down to her own brother gets killed. And it tends to be people that she interacts with directly. It's never somebody that doesn't personally affect her. And slowly it gets closer and closer to home until finally her father is killed, and that's the turning point. But she's a terrible person.
Yeah, again, my problem here, and I realize you really dig this film. I have a feeling this conversation is going to be in reverse.
That's okay.
When we do Tokyo Gore Police.
Probably. Very, very likely.
In fact, I'm certain the conversation is going to be the complete reverse when we do Tokyo Gore Police. But part of the problem I had with this film was that I had found that their culture was so thoroughly despicable, and that the choice had pretty much been taken out of their hands from birth. I mean, they had been born into this pact with the pit since at least the 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And the culture itself was just so utterly despicably savage. I can't think of another word.
I wouldn't call it savage.
They lived like savages. I
would call it backwoods. To me, there's a difference. Unsophisticated.
Well, I don't think it's fair to compare these people to just your run-of-the-mill shit kicker. I mean, these are not shit kickers. These people are...
No, they're not shit kickers, but I wouldn't call them savage. I mean, when I think savage,
They cut people's heads off to the pit. They're savages.
Yeah, but they're not doing it willy-nilly. They only do it when the pit asks for it. And it is established the pit has something living in it.
Yes, and Allah demands every homo get thrown off a roof. I mean, it's not like...
Allah doesn't talk to his people like the pit talks to its. The people who worship the pit have quantifiable evidence that there is something living in that pit.
Yeah.
And they don't always sacrifice people to it. It's only when a Jug Face is made.
But ultimately, I suppose if there had been more redeeming characters in that clan of theirs, maybe I would have felt something. Mm. But again, other than the Potter, everyone was so goddamn dislikable. I mean, it's like, okay. Yeah, she's getting a lot of people killed to escape this nightmare, but you know what? Okay.
And yet, I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Sure, you can.
Okay.
I mean...
Okay, yes. Are these people backwoods? Yes. Are they, again, unsophisticated? Yes. And, do they have some... very strange viewpoints? Yes. But to be perfectly honest, everybody has a two-parent household. They do have morals.
They do?
Yes, they do.
What would those morals be other than
Children are raised by a 2-parent household.
and then sold?
Yeah, but you're only sold to like people within your community. It's not like you're sold outside of it.
Okay.
Well, they also look, I'm not saying that their ways are right, but they have better morals than what we have now, here now in like California.
You can leave without getting murdered.
You could leave their town without getting murdered. You just had no money. And nobody wanted to leave.
Oh, that's true. Most of them did seem pretty brain dead on that point.
I mean, the only reason why they got hauled back was because the Potter was a fugitive. They all thought he was responsible for why the pit was pissed. That's the only reason why the town went after them when they tried to run away.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure that if AiA had run off, they would have just said, okay?
Well, her father probably would have been pissed, but at no point was it established that the only reason why they wanted AiA back was because she's the one who set the Potter free. She was perfectly fine until she helped the Potter.
I think this is one of those ones where we're just going to have to disagree.
Okay. Look,
I just can't really feel any sympathy for the people I watch.
I'm not asking you to.
I can't, it's like, frankly, if I had been put in her shoes, I probably would have said, screw them, let them all die. If they want to worship the monster in the pit, I'm out of here. I'm
not asking you to feel sympathy for them. Like we've already established, there are no good people in this film other than the Potter. And yes, I am stating that. Her father was gonna sell her out. Her mother, oh my fucking God. Sean Young was amazing in the role of her mother.
As the matriarch of this clan.
Yes. And just the queen bitch extraordinaire. And doing checks herself to make sure that her daughter was still a virgin, slapping her, burning her with her cigarette when it's discovered that AiA was sleeping around. I mean, just damn.
I don't know. I'll go a step further. If AiA escaping meant the entire community got wiped out and the cult of the pit no longer existed, it would be worth it.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But for me, honestly, I enjoy this film because there are no truly good people. And AiA, our main protagonist, is the worst of them all. And that is so rare, especially when it's not only a female protagonist, but also one who's fucking pregnant.
Yeah.
Every time a woman is fucking pregnant, it's, she can do no wrong. And even though people in the town kept thinking, oh, she must have run because she's trying to save the life of her baby. Even the ghosts that serve the pit thought that she was doing this because she wanted to save the life of her baby.
That's what she said herself. You don't believe it?
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it, at all.
Because originally the pit had requested her child, and she hurled the pot into the bush and said, "It's not having my child."
She didn't know about the fetus pot until over a day after she had discovered the pot with her own face and she had hidden it. She saved her own goddamn skin first.
Yeah.
And then later she found out about the fetus pot. And the way they did it, it's more like she's scared that the fetus pot is going to reveal the fact that she's pregnant, not that they're going to kill her baby.
I could see that.
Yeah, no. She honestly, I seriously.
Well, let's shift gears here.
Okay.
I found it enjoyable, but I don't get out of this what you do. What is it about this film that really appeals? What resonates?
Honestly, the fact that a mother is not a sacred cow that can do no wrong. The fact that just because she's pregnant doesn't instantly make her like immune to everything. Not only that, the entire film, the whole point of the movie, the whole reason why we have a story is because she did, one wrong thing and spends the rest of the film trying to continually hide the fact that she did that one wrong thing, and as a result, everybody else suffers.
Well, wait, which wrong thing? Hiding the jug face of herself or fucking her brother?
Hiding the jug face of herself.
Okay.
If it had simply just been the fact that she had been fucking her brother and she was found out, that would be a totally different story. It's the fact that she doesn't want to be sacrificed to the pit. She refused the sacrifice, and as a result, other people in the town get murdered.
I think that's where we're kind of parting paths here.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's freaky ass religion decides for me that I got to be sacrificed, and if I run away and they all die, I don't really feel too bad about it.
Well, what if you've reaped the rewards of sacrifices in the past?
At age 16, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a little early to say that it's completely on you.
Still, it's your religion, it's your world. I'm going by the rules laid out by their society. Also, the fact that it's laid out that, her grandfather also refused the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And as a result, he's cursed.
Well, actually, it turned out he wasn't cursed. It turned out the town poisoned him, and it permanently screwed up his body and addles his brain.
But they poisoned him because he refused.
Yeah.
And the person who died in his stead is now a walking ghost who can never rest.
Yeah.
Is now a servant of the pit. So, she's, as far as their religion goes, she comes from stock that is constantly pissing off the pit.
I kept watching this, and the thing that kept occurring to me was, okay, if these sorts of settings always have rules, then how does one escape the pit? And I mean, I've got my theories. I mean, one is you go to someplace where there's no nature at all. You go to a city where it has no power. If it's a Christian universe, I suppose you go to sacred ground or hallowed ground.
But it was established in that beginning drawing that it has
no
regard for Christians.
I suppose if you wanted to go off of earth magic and paganism and or even the Irish Celt traditions. Wait, I take that back. No, the Middle East had this too. I suppose you could have tried to kill the monster with iron, but that it wasn't really clear if there was an escape.
Well, I suppose if you leave during a time when the pit's not demanding a sacrifice, you are no longer within its protection. Therefore, it really doesn't care about you.
I would have liked to have known if that would have changed the entire film for me.
Mm-hmm.
If you could leave before being chosen, and I mean, if you had the right to leave, that would change the entire thing. But you never really got the sense that you could.
But the Potter said, "Look, you leave now, and you're free. You don't have to worry about being sacrificed ever again. I will be sacrificed, and that will satiate the pit." The Potter told her that.
Yeah.
So the Potter did tell her, "You can leave."
But was he right? Because they had already sacrificed a few other people, and it didn't work.
But they didn't sacrifice the pit's Potter.
I think the rules should have been a little more clear then to me.
I figured they were.
Well, again, you get more out of this than I do. But do you want to answer some questions, or do you have more?
I'm just ranting with you.
One.
Damien, is Creedence Clearwater Revival on the soundtrack?
No, but I'll tell you, if Dueling Banjos had been, it would have been very fitting. Actually,
the soundtrack was pretty good. Nocturne. Did they watch the same movie? They're disagreeing a lot. Well, hey, that makes for great entertainment, right? Owen, is this movie Lovecraftian?
Yes and no. I mean, on the one end, we get a little too. I think people have become far too anxious or quick to say this is Lovecraftian. Did Lovecraft write about this kind of stuff? Yes. In this way, that's a little more questionable. I would really say this had a lot more in common with Shirley Jackson's The Lottery, or of the various folk tales that actually existed and may have actually been happening back in the 16 and 1700s in this country, even later, all the way up to the early 1900s, of these backwoods hillbilly clans that had very strange religious practices. So you could say it's Lovecraftian in that regard, that Lovecraft wrote about this stuff. But I think this goes back a little further than that.
Actually, I would kind of lump it in the same broad sweeping category as Wicker Man.
Similar, yeah. I mean, but the Wicker Man, I think that was a far.
I said broad sweeping. I mean, that town was definitely way more sophisticated than this town in Jug Face.
Yeah.
Well, for one thing, the story in Jug Face takes place over a 4-day period, I believe, and nobody changes their clothes.
In Wicker Man, nobody ran over a possum and said, "Hey, that's some good eating," and throw it in the back of the truck to take it home and eat it.
Yeah.
That happens in this film.
Yes, it does.
And nobody was selling moonshine to get by.
The fact that everybody in the town makes the damn stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it was an entire moonshining. If it had been Lovecraft, honestly, it probably would have been Innsmouth, and they would have all been fish people.
Well, her eyes are kind of in that vein, aren't they? The actress has weird eyes. The cover art doesn't do it justice. You looking for another one? Acid Trip. I will always be A, evil will always be evil. A will always be A, evil will always be evil. There we go. Yeah. I can read. Kronk, my problem with this film is that there is no Guyver in it. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay, I got to admit that if they had just the tone of this film and the way that it's put together, I will give it to it. It has a very real feel. At no point do you feel this is some sort of staged dramatics. It really feels like you're peeking in on some backwoods community. So for as serious and realistic as the whole thing felt, if in the last 10 minutes of the film, if a Zoanoid suddenly lifted out of the pit and Guyver came down to fight it, that would have been hysterically funny. I'd give you that.
So why not review a Chinese torture chamber story? It has everything plus a torture donkey. Is it painted like a zebra?
You got a film you want to suggest?
Panda Power. So are we rooting for the girl to die? I'm rooting for her to die. You know what? That is exactly the correct thing. You are rooting for this girl to die.
I kind of wanted the whole town to be wiped out personally, but that's me.
I wasn't, because again, they weren't spreading out into the rest of the populace. They weren't like the Amazing Whites, where
they were having running gun battles through the town, and
yeah,
responsible for, what was it, 98% of all crime in this one community.
Yeah.
That might be worth reviewing. This documentary.
Oh, that's it.
Or was it called The Wonderful Whites? Let me get it for sure.
Something Whites. I just remember it was done by the same production company that put out Jackass.
Dick House. It was a Dick House production.
Yeah, The Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. And they don't mean white people. They mean that's the name of this family, the Whites.
Yeah, that's their last name. And this is an amazing documentary. I think last time I saw it, you could get it on Prime.
Let me post this.
Okay. check this out. This is a character study. Wild.
This documentary is a fucking head trip. I just
yes.
And it's kind of really the people in this film. I wouldn't be shocked if the filmmaker watched that documentary. It was so damn accurate.
I wouldn't doubt it either. Of course, the filmmaker may have, you know, been from a town that was near a town like this.
Okay, let's see.
Ishii's looking for another comment. I don't know how backwoods people are portrayed as just a step above cave people, but if the aliens came and killed our power and people got hungry, those backwoods folks would be fine. That's true. In fact, a lot of them probably still have kerosene lamps.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of backwoods people right now are completely kept afloat on meth sales to the surrounding communities. They don't actually produce anything other than cooking meth. They don't make their own food. They don't.
Well, they have propane. They've got propane for their
apparently
torches.
That's been the truth since the Prohibition, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That most of these Ozark communities had been surviving off of selling moonshine, not actually farming or raising animals or anything. It
true.
Really was a very parasitic sort of arrangement.
No, that's very true. Endless Nocturne. But Ishii, you should have left before the pit called your name in that case. If you're old enough to bang your brother, you're old enough to move out.
You do have a point. You do have a point.
Panda Power. I think politics are have really ruined us when someone likes a movie just because a woman is portrayed as a shit person. I'm sorry, just saying. That's okay, Panda Power. No, I mean, it's novel.
Okay, finish, and then I like this next comment from him.
No, it's novel to me to do a character study of a shit person as the main protagonist. And I mean, you know, we get people like Patrick Bateman, you know, characters like that. But you rarely ever see that with women. And so to have that with a woman, but not just a woman, one who's pregnant, you know, breaking down all the sacred cows. I love it. And it's done so fucking well. So anyway.
Okay. Panda's follow-up comment, I thoroughly agree with.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, the pit is a good guy. The baby was probably the Antichrist. Probably was. I mean, she was fucking her brother. Owen. So, like the Wicker Man, when Huey was given every chance to leave but didn't.
Yeah, that was the difference, is he was given every chance to leave and was even encouraged to leave. And he was told time and again, look, this is our way. This is our island. Go away. Mm-hmm. Leave it alone. And he also was given a chance to join.
Yeah, he was.
These savages just wanted the pit.
Well, but, you know, her family, you know, everybody that she knew was being killed because of her actions. And she was constantly given the opportunity to come clean. And it wasn't until her father was killed that she finally did it. Endless Nocturne. It's a pit, Ishii. There are no rules, just what works and doesn't work. It's all trial and error when dealing with dark gods and such.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, they did keep the refrain of the pit wants what the pit wants.
Okay, well, I do have a question. Mm-hmm. There was one thing that I always wondered about. Whenever someone died in the pit, mm-hmm. that weird goat horn trumpet mm-hmm. just was suddenly conveniently nearby to blow on. Even when somebody was tied up, someone dies in front of him, suddenly he's got that stupid horn. Did that thing just magically appear?
No, actually.
How did that work?
It's implied, and I picked it up this time. Now, okay, when the guy was tied up, that is a continuity error. In fact, this time around, I did catch continuity errors.
Because I thought it was a little odd that every time someone died, it didn't matter what location, that fucking horn was there to be blown on.
Not true. Not true. The horn is always at the pit.
Oh,
The horn is always at the pit. When the first woman is killed doing laundry at the lake, the avatar for the pit drags her body to the pit and spreads around her body parts. And when they come across it, the horn is hanging very poignantly on a hook. Second time, her brother was bathing in the pit because he was sick, and the pit killed him in the pit. Her father was there watching it, and he blew the horn. You know, let's see, her father again was at the pit. Yeah, and so therefore the horn, the horn's already there. Somebody else was elsewhere. The pit killed it and dragged it back to the pit. It's constant.
Y'all jump in that pit, Cletus, and rub all that mud and devil. Yeah, you stay there in the devil mouth. It's gonna heal you.
And then he prayed to the pit.
And it ate him.
Yep, it ate him. That's the other thing. The pit's bloody. The pit likes to eviscerate people. Saul, no, it's not painted like a zebra. It's just your average run-of-the-mill torture donkey.
I like your posts, Saul. I often don't know what the hell you're talking about, but they're always good.
I want to get a donkey gimp mask. That's awesome for the next time I go riding on a horse.
I don't even want to know. Let's keep going.
Panda power. I'm telling you, the pit is the hero and the true protagonist. I agree. Elton, you think it would be possible to make a movie like this with any community that isn't white?
Yes, but not without a shit ton of outrage.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 50s, sure. I mean, there was Wasp Woman, or was that Leech? It was Wasp Woman, right?
Leech Woman.
Leech Woman.
Wasp Woman was the one where she was trying to become young again, and instead she turned herself into a bee. I
would say, although the ending was kind of shit, The Serpent and the Rainbow in the 80s kind of counted.
I never saw it.
The rest of that movie's good. It's just the ending's kind of. But yeah, I would say right now, if you made it with anyone who wasn't white, there probably would be hell to pay.
Underworld Dream. Can you guys review The Void?
That's sitting right there next to the player waiting. Yep. I so want to review that one. That's a great film. I love that.
It is definitely in the to read pile.
Or to play.
Or to play. Sorry.
We've seen it. We really like it.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You know what? Read.
Okay, Elton, like natives dealing with these horror, like these in communities.
Well, wait a minute. We have an answer for you on that. Yes, you can make the film. Yes, everyone's going to shit bricks and go psychotic. The Green Inferno.
Yeah.
There you go. The Green Inferno.
Yeah.
Bunch of SJW Greenpeace wannabes go down to the Amazon to protest. Their plane crashes, and they have a bad time.
No, their plane doesn't crash. Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
Mad Ginger, please don't bang your brother. Just saying. No, we're not touching his brother. Wolf 10. Ishi rubs the mud on the body and it gets at the pit. Owen, what was in the blasted pit? We don't know.
Some sort of earth spirit, apparently.
Endless Talk Turn. Are you guys going to do a review of Boogie Pop? Recently realized that Garden of Sinners is a really interesting contrast to it. I need to check that out.
What's Garden of Sinners?
I don't know.
We've watched the first 3 episodes already.
Well, we covered Boogie Pop and others. We have not done Imaginator yet. Although I suppose if we wanted to get really specific, we should do Phantom before we start Imaginator, because Phantom takes place in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, I love Boogie Pop.
It kind of is a comedy.
This? Yes.
No.
Green Inferno? Yes.
I have not seen it, but from every clip review I've seen where you see the whole thing, yeah, it does seem a bit more of a comedy of errors with lots of gore.
Well, the fact that it's also revealed that one of their members was actually hired by the competing logging company, and he got all of his friends to go down there to stop the other logging company from bulldozing this forest so that the one he's working for can do it. I love that.
Okay, Garden of Sinners.
So it's like, yes, you're a dupe.
All right, that looks interesting.
Ooh.
Okay, well, we've got 10 minutes before we're up to the hour. I'm going to be honest with you. After the week I've had and last night's show, I'm still really exhausted. Let's see.
Pumpkinhead. It's a better portrayal of Southerners, and it's a damn good movie. Not just a good horror movie, but a movie in general. The first one, the sequels are meh. I have not seen Pumpkinhead, but I have heard nothing but good things about it. Nishi's looking up the Ozarks.
Would the Ozarks really qualify as the South, though? I mean, kind of its own thing, wouldn't you say, that region?
I've always thought of the Ozarks as their own thing, but I'm not from that area of the world, so...
I mean, does Missouri really count as the South? I mean, that's more Midwest.
Well, it depends on... Are you drawing the line because of
I don't know.
the Civil War?
When you say mountain people, I just don't think Southerner.
Well, also, there's their mountains and then there's our mountains, so... No, when I think of Ozarks, I'm always thinking of where the red fern grows. But, okay, how about this, people? If any of you have seen any of the Boggy Creek Creature films...
Oh, Jesus.
That's what we're dealing with.
Except that's Texarkana. That really is the South.
But that's the Ozarks.
Well, it said here the Ozarks was Montana or Missouri.
But in Boggy Creek 2, they said that they're in the Ozarks.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't know. We're not from that area, so if anybody is, please educate us.
All right. Well, again, I would like to carry on and say more, but I am so wiped out still. What?
Oh, no, the one below it. Sorry. But can you guys review Pat Labor, the original Gundam?
Pat Labor is on the list. I've got a special edition of it still waiting to be watched. That is something I very much want to review.
Oh, we already did that one.
Which one are you wanting me to?
The one right underneath, that one.
See, look, I told you I'm exhausted.
It's okay. No, Kronk wanted to know how we're doing.
Well, I you know what, last 7 minutes of the show, I can break the theme of reviewing movies for something else. I'll be up front. I guess the emotional exhaustion of coming to terms with everything I explained last night, and it's kind of been the last 2 weeks of really figuring out that I pretty much got to cut ties with my family entirely, and that I had been saying for the last part of a year that I had been pretty much blackballed and blacklisted from the family anyway. But to really just say, you know what, I've got to stop trying and let go and accept that it is what it is. It's tiring. I'm still having very bad sleep. I'm sleeping too much or I'm not sleeping enough. I'm having horrendous nightmares. Had my first night terror, actually 3 in rapid succession 2 nights ago, which wasn't fun. And I'm not producing a lot creatively, which I think is the worst part right now. It's just I'm too fucking tired. There's other things that I'm processing. I think I mentioned it last night on the show, but one of the things that really bothers me is I mentioned that the people I'm living around right now, they're good people. They're all very good people, and I was taught and raised to look down on them and think of them as lesser or subhuman. And I realize it's not my fault I was raised that way, but I'm still going to kind of feel shitty about it and carry some guilt for holding those views for as long as I did. But and just coming to terms with the fact that, yeah, I probably could have had at least another 10, 15 years of maybe even 20 with my parents before they are gone, but those are all going to be wasted because Orange Man bad. Yeah. So, yeah, nightmares, and I'm tired.
Saul says, if you want to see a really funny, messed up movie, try the Christian classic, If Footmen Tire You, What Will Horses Do? Estes Perkle is hilarious.
I have never seen the full film. I've seen large, long segments of it, and I've seen lots of reviews of it. And yes, I even know about the Negativland song that sampled it.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the other 2 films that Estes Perkle did.
And let me tell you, Estes Perkle must be a very, very miserable person. I mean, you see what he thinks heaven looks like in his movies, and it essentially looks like punching cookies in the rec room.
Yeah.
I think an eternity of that, I'd want to go to hell just to feel something else.
Yeah.
But I got to admit, the horny communist soldiers coming in and saying, well, we share everything in communism, comrade. We're going to take your wife was hilarious.
No, I love the them deafening young children, like shoving sticks into young children's ears to deafen them so that they can't hear the word of the Lord anymore. All right, it's like, really, dude? Yeah, that's hilarious stuff.
In fact, I think all the films Perkle made were pretty damn funny.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, could you imagine what Perkle could have made with like a Michael Bay budget?
Oh my
just
God.
The fucking acid trip insanity fever dream that would have been.
Well, I just love the I think it's the second film, and I don't recall what it's called. But this guy's friend was on a motorcycle because, motorcycles are of the devil, and he got into an accident and died. And he just hears about it, so he stumbles into a church looking for some sort of solace. And he says, so, what you're saying is my friend who just died in an accident not 5 seconds ago, is he going to be in hell? And Estes looks him dead in the face and says, yes, he's probably burning in hell right this very moment for his life of sin.
I thought he said he was suffering the
torments of hell. Yeah,
the torments of hell and the flames of the inferno of eternity.
Yeah, like, holy fuck, dude! Like,
the thing is that would not be really worth a review because it would just be us laughing like this.
Yeah.
Again, that would be another one where you would want to like get everyone to find the bootleg copy of it on YouTube because it exists.
Yeah.
And we do a watch along with the audience. That is the only way we could do it. And we could read comments as we go.
Yes.
Because that is the kind of film
that it lends itself very well.
You know what else would be funny? Would be watching that documentary where the guy's, what is it, D&D and rock and roll or Satan? And he said, listen to all the secret decoded messages in Led Zeppelin if I play it backwards. And
well, that one, it's rock and roll, it's your choice.
And then he gets into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Oh, God, yeah. Where he's talking through the Castle Grayskull microphone.
Okay, Saul's got an answer for us.
Missouri is technically the South because it sided with the South of the Civil War. That's what I thought, but...
yes, you've got a wrench. You're a moderator, Wolf.
Yep.
All right. Owen, as far as dropping you a link, we will talk later.
Yes.
Talk to me on Twitter.
Acid Trip, I'm thinking of doing books on Amazon just like you did, but I'm kind of worried. Could you do a show about how to start, or is that too much?
No, that's not a problem at all. We could do that next week on Writer's Room.
Totally.
We'll do that next week. That'll be next week's show. It's not as hard as you think. And
actually, they've made it a lot easier.
And you said you're worried. Could you send me your questions on what you want to know and what you're worried about so I can directly address them?
Whoa.
Well, that's interesting. What's going on?
Is this a Amber Alert?
Oh, shit.
What?
We got a dust storm.
Oh, fuck.
Let's tape the windows up.
Oh, okay.
Later. Well, that's That's new.
That's gonna be fun. Oh shit, I've got laundry outside.
Well, you'll have to pull them in a minute.
Okay. Yes, Boggy Creek does rock. Both of them do, actually. Well, okay, the original Boggy Creek and Boggy Creek: The Legend Continues. The ones done by what's the director's name?
It's something Pierce. Yeah, J something Pierce.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
B. Pierce. Yeah. Do those. The other one, the other Legend of Boggy Creek 2 is not very good.
Well, the funny thing about Pierce, the guy, Donald B. Pierce, his films, is that he really is trying to make a legit good film. And he uses a lot of the real locals who claim to have seen things in the film, but he's a true believer, which really gives it an air of authenticity.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, granted, it's total crap. I mean, there is no Boggy Creek creature, but damn, this guy believes it.
He really.
And some of the stories that he tells are hilarious.
Oh God.
Anime Acid Trip. Yes, Neuromancer is excellent. That's another one I should talk about.
Yes.
I really should. Maybe if I'm not feeling too terrible, I'll talk about it tomorrow night or Monday.
Wolf, I'm scared to imagine a liberal president at this point.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Well, you see, if it was an actual true post-Enlightenment liberal, we'd have nothing to worry about. They're not liberal anymore. They're fucking Marxists. All right, let's see.
Panda Power. As someone who's lost both their parents too soon have said it's painful as shit. I feel bad that you can't spend time with them because of politics. Politics are Satan.
Or at least zealotry. I mean, it really has become a religion to them.
And Panda Power, I'm very sorry for your loss.
Yeah. Let's see.
Endless Nocturne. A regular sleep schedule helps a lot with my oversleeping from mild depression.
I'm beginning to think it's emotional exhaustion and depression.
Saul, do you know how old he was in those films? Purple was only 40.
Purple?
I don't know.
I thought he was talking about Pierce and Boggy Creek.
I don't know, honestly.
You thought a nuclear reactor was about to blow up?
Yep, it's the air raid siren. Go into the basement. Take cover, friends. Anakin told us dust storms are dangerous. And Anakin really hates sand. I lost my sister to politics.
Yeah. Okay, tell you what, guys. I've got to take a bit of a break here. In the chat or on Twitter, if you want me to come back in an hour or two and talk about Neuromancer, I can do that.
Okay.
But I need a break right now. I'm fucking tired.
And I have a cephalopod waiting for me on my workbench.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us as always, guys. And you guys take care.
Good night, everybody.